Whether you're new to the gym or a well-trained athlete, you probably will have experienced delayed onset muscle soreness, aka DOMS. My name is Elle, specialist eating disorder and sports dietitian, and I'm going to explain how your nutrition can improve and potentially even prevent DOMS. So DOMS refers to the pain and stiffness experienced between 24 to 48 hours following a session that was perhaps different to your normal style of training or more intense. They can last a varying amount of time, with most experiencing the symptoms of DOMS for up to 3 days to a week. The mechanisms for DOMS are unclear, but are thought to be associated with inflammation of the area. Whilst inflammation can lead to soreness, it's also required for muscle protein synthesis, which supports muscle growth and repair. So a little discomfort is to be expected every now and then when you're progressing in your training. A lot of nutritional strategies have been proposed to help reduce the incidence and the effect of DOMS, with an abundance of studies finding that certain nutrition interventions can be effective in reducing DOMS in both athletes and recreational gym goers. Before I dive into what these nutrients are, I cannot stress enough that no nutrient or supplement will promote optimal recovery unless your overall nutrition is right in the first place. Fueling sufficiently, staying hydrated, taking enough rest, and managing sleep and stress appropriately are of utmost importance. If any of these factors are out of place, the addition of specific foods or supplements is unlikely to be effective. Supplements should be seen as the icing on the cake. Underfueling and/or overtraining can increase the likelihood of DOMS developing, but poor recovery nutrition can also influence this. The goal of post-training nutrition is to support recovery, and this means providing the body with adequate nutrition to replenish glycogen stores and promote the repair and growth of muscles. Inadequate nutrition, especially if you're training intensely, can lead to fatigue and slow down the recovery process, which can result in increased muscle soreness and consequently reduced performance in following training sessions. You can check out the other video we have which explains all things post-workout nutrition right here if you'd like more guidance in this area. So let's look at the nutrients and supplements that can help in minimizing your risk of DOMS and maximizing your sessions. Number 1, protein. We know that DOMS occurs as a result of muscle fibers tearing, and that protein is the key nutrient involved in repairing these tissues following exercise. Our body is in a constant state of muscle protein breakdown and repair, but the rate of breakdown exceeds the rate of repair during exercise, which is why there is an increased importance on protein to support recovery following training. Out of all macronutrients, protein is the one that we cannot store in the body, and this is why it is important for protein to be consumed at regular intervals throughout the day. The quantity of protein consumed is not only important in recovery, but also the quality, as specific amino acids have displayed important roles in muscle growth and recovery. For example, 3 to 4 grams of leucine is required to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. This can be easily obtained through animal protein sources such as whey protein, milk, yogurt, and chicken. Leucine is an essential amino acid, meaning that we must obtain it through food. A multitude of studies suggest that approximately 20 to 40 grams of high-quality protein is sufficient to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis post-workout. This looks like 1 to 2 scoops of Myprotein Impact Whey, which provides 20 grams of high-quality protein per scoop. Number 2, caffeine. Caffeine is well known for its ability to improve alertness and decrease fatigue in the average person, which makes it a popular choice for many individuals pre-workout stack. But when caffeine is consumed in either supplement form or as a drink following exercise, it has also been associated with an improved recovery in both athletes and non-athletes. Multiple studies have demonstrated that caffeine can significantly decrease the degree of muscle soreness following exercise. A study by Hurley et al. In 2013 suggested that intakes of 5 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram body weight 1 hour prior to exercise and within the 24 hours following showed a decrease in DOMS between 2 and 3 days after exercise compared to the placebo. The proposed mechanism for this is that caffeine is an adenosine receptor antagonist. Adenosine is involved in pain transmission and sensitization, and when caffeine works on its receptors, it may reduce DOMS by deactivating the perception of pain. A more recent study identified that ingestion of 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight post-exercise appeared to attenuate DOMS in both female and male athletes. 5 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram body weight looks like 350 to 420 milligrams for a 70-kilo person. It is worth mentioning that caffeine tolerance really varies among people, with many not tolerating caffeine at all. And caffeine does not have the nicest side effects when it's not tolerated. It can lead to shakes, increased anxiety, and you can find it hard to concentrate. Dosages greater than 10 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram body weight are considered dangerous, so please take care when you're experimenting with dosages to find out what works for you. You can take caffeine in tablet form, or you can get it through pre-workouts, coffee, energy drinks, and small amounts are found naturally in some foods like dark chocolate. Myprotein pre-workout contains 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and a standard coffee can vary between 40 to 60 milligrams and 200 milligrams. Number 3, omega-3. DOMS occurs due to inflammation, which takes place when the immune cells are recruited into the muscle area that has become damaged. Inflammation is not necessarily a bad thing. Although it can promote soreness, inflammation also encourages muscle protein synthesis to occur, which is why a little bit of DOMS is to be expected when you're increasing your strength and progressing in the gym. Omega-3 fatty acids regulate inflammation within the body and can provide protective effects against certain health conditions, as well as being seen to improve DOMS. Omega-3 fatty acids are associated with improving our cholesterol levels and having other positive cardiovascular effects, as well as being really important for brain development and optimal functioning. There are 3 main omega-3 fatty acids: ALA, EPA, and DHA. ALA is found in plant-based foods like walnuts and chia seeds, as well as their oils and olive oil. Now, without going into too much detail, ALA must be converted into EPA and DHA in the body in order for it to be beneficial for functions other than simply providing energy. However, our bodies are not greatly efficient at this, so only a small amount of EPA or DHA is actually gained through this conversion process. ALA is typically one of the most common omega-3 fatty acids in our diet, which is why it is encouraged to include oily fish in our diets twice per week, as these contain more bioavailable sources of omega-3. Or take a supplement if you're not a fan of oily fish or are vegan. Studies have shown that omega-3s can reduce the incidence and severity of DOMS after exercise. One study concluded that consumption of 1.8 grams of omega-3 fatty acids resulted in a reduction of pain and an increased range of motion 48 hours following exercise. Another and more recent study found that by supplementing with 3,000 milligrams per day of omega-3 fatty acids for 7 consecutive days, muscle stiffness was reduced. Myprotein has a range of different omega-3 supplements, including vegan alternatives that are rich in EPA and DHA. Unfortunately, DOMS is part of the process of progressing in our chosen sports and can be a sign of muscle adaptation and improvements to our performance. But if you don't experience DOMS regularly, it doesn't mean your training isn't progressing, and it could actually indicate that your nutrition is on point. There is no ultimate cure for DOMS, but equally there is no major consequence of experiencing them, aside from the discomfort and potentially affecting your performance at competitions if you're an experienced athlete. Ensure that you fuel your training sessions and prioritize recovery nutrition in order to lessen the likelihood of experiencing that stiff and sore feeling. And remember to rest as well. You can check out the supplements listed in this video on the Myprotein website, and as always, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.